What's up, brother? It's your boy, Mike Muse, from the Conversation, the Mike Muse Show. I am so excited to be in conversation with my next guest because he is just too fly. When he walks into a room, I feel like he just shuts it down, and he has a signature hat that I love, and you guys know, audience, how much I love a hat game, and this brother wears a hat game oh so well. I'm so excited to get a chance to get to know him. You have probably seen him in America on the new hit show On Brand with my homie Bose. What up, Bose? Good to see you, my friend. Congratulations to you too as well. But I really thought it'd be a good time to really talk about branding and marketing. You guys have come to me so much about how to build a brand, how to develop a brand. In particular, we're about to go into Small Business Saturdays right now, and it's a holiday time, and so it's all about shopping small, thinking small, but activating big. As we're going into the end of the year, the New Year's approaching, and always with the new year, it's always about, I'm thinking about starting my own company. I'm thinking about going into entrepreneurship. And, I've been loving having conversations around artificial intelligence, and I think AI is such a great component in terms of helping small businesses scale, not diminish and not to displace workforce, but to scale. So I couldn't think of a better person to really have some branding conversation with my boy Mahiri Taki. What's happening?
Hey, man. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, welcome, man.
Yeah, this is exciting. I'm ready to do it.
First of all, your hat game. Talk to me. Where is inspired this hat game? Because the one you got on right now is so cool. Audience, wait till you see this running back on YouTube.
I really created this concept of my hats because I wanted to tell stories through things I put on my head. And so I started to create the concept based on things that happened in time or things that happened in tragedy. And I created the design concept based on that.
What is this hat telling us right now?
Well, this hat is the blue band from when my dad passed. This is the band that was on his jeans, and so I ripped it and put it on the hat. I have my two matches for my two children who are ready to burn, and then there's burn scars on the top of my head because there's some things that happen in life that burn us, and we still have to recover, and they become beautiful when we see our scars. So this is the concept of the hat.
Oh, a story indeed.
It's a story in a story, yes, sir.
That is beautiful. I've seen matches in hats before. Mm-hmm. Is that a universal theme with a match, or is that the one that you're attributing to?
Yeah, well, that's what I contributed to. I don't know what other people use it for, but I mean, like, everything is a story within the story for me, so it's a storytelling element.
How did you think to grab the ribbon from your father's jeans?
Well, it was because it was my dad dying was such a hard tragedy to get through, and so I needed solace. And, if you, in therapy they say grab something that was dear or near to that person, and it helps you to be close to them. And so as I was building the courage to come back to life, because I felt like I died as well, I kind of needed something to keep me going and to push me to the next place.
I think that's beautiful because I think we all are grieving in one capacity or another. And there's one thing that is for sure about life is that we're all going to experience grief.
Absolutely.
And I think everyone grieves differently. Absolutely. And I think there's many stages to grief. But I love this idea of grabbing something that meant something to someone and repurposing it.
Yes.
And giving it new meaning.
Well, thank you.
That has to feel like your spirit of your father is with you.
Yes. Yes.
And I think the fact that it's on the head
is
even more significant.
It's your crown. Absolutely.
The energy force.
Yes, man.
That's
You get it.
No, I mean it's very special. I've been talking about grief a lot, and in particular what's happening lately in the geopolitical space. And no need for you to get into it, but I've been talking about the idea of when loved ones do not have the ability to lay their ones to rest, right? The challenging and the difficulty that one has to face when it comes to it. So, point being, the Mike Muse Show, we're warm to this conversation because I've been having conversation about this for a while. All right, well, you have now a new passion, right? Yes. You said as a strike for your children that burn for them. Yes. Your father's legacy is on the crown of your head, and you are launching, I feel, this new season with you by being on the show. Why did you choose to go on the show?
Wow, that's a good question. I think that it was just time. After my dad died, like I said, I went still. I stopped everything. I paused all things because I just needed a break. And then I was in the top of my fashion game. I was doing my clothing line. I literally stopped doing it because my motivation ended when my dad died. My dad was murdered. And I had to deal with not just grieving him, but grieving the nasty way that he had to go. And then having to get solace in the fact that one of my biggest supporters, is now no longer here. And the greatest motivation to what I did in my work, I'll create something and show it to my dad and like, oh, that's good, boy. Let me show you how I would have did it. And that little commentary kept me moving and kept me pushing it. And so when he left, it left me unstable for a minute. I had to grab my footing back. And so the time of receiving the phone call from the producers to do this show was just perfect, because it was like a rebirth. And in a rebirth, you don't always know when you're starting, but you have to start because someone is waiting on you on the other side. And so that's kind of what this felt like. I felt like it all just aligned.
What was the timing from when your father passed away till you got the call?
We were 5 years in. Yeah. And I'm telling you, I was operating in myself, outside of myself. I was in the depression so deeply that I could literally see myself moving and making decisions, but still not present. And it wasn't until I had to have a deep conversation, and I was like, you got to wake up from here, because you're going to lose yourself. And I did not want to lose my life and leave my children with that same level of disparity that I felt without my father.
Was there a moment that awakened you? Was it a walk in the park? Were you in the shower? Were you driving, getting some gas?
I can say that there's a moment of awakening that happened for me, but it wasn't in the way that makes sense. Yeah. There was a moment with my children where I saw that they needed me present, and that active role that I've been playing where I'm here but I'm not here didn't work anymore. My wife was deployed. My son woke me up and he was like, you're sleeping all day. Wow. And I was like, wow. Am I? And so again, I started to like clock back in and make intention with myself. And I even started to get out of depression. I started to give myself a point system. You take a shower, you get 100 points. You wash your face, just motivating myself to get started again. It was very difficult, but I was able to do it.
I love that you're saying that, because obviously we get to the end of the year and everyone that people, there's such a big push for fourth quarter, right? Fourth quarter push, get all your goals and objectives done. But I often feel exhausted, right? By the time the fourth quarter comes, and by the time I get to December, I'm crawling onto an airplane to wherever my destination is going, and that depression is so real. But what I love that what you just mentioned about awakening is that getting out of depression isn't as simplistic as one day you have this awakening in the shower.
Right.
One day you're driving to get some gas, but it's a systematic approach to tapping back into yourself. Yeah. And it sounds like you gave yourself grace.
Yeah. And I think that's the biggest part is giving yourself enough grace to, if you don't do it right today, it's okay. You have another opportunity to do it again tomorrow. And I really started to intentionally make my choices and really make sure I center myself around something that was going to motivate me. My thing was God. And so I was like, okay, well, let me pray now and let me stabilize myself in what I decide to do, and let me put my decisions in place. So if I say I'm going to run, I'm at night putting my shoes by the door. So in the morning, all I'm doing is grabbing my shoes and putting them on and running. And so that making those type of efforts consistently, it drew me out of what was the depression and put me back into my purpose.
And also to being receptive. I was having a dinner recently and someone said, when you go into rooms, you shouldn't go in anticipating anything or expecting things, but you should go in with this energy and spirit of receiving and to receive whatever the room has for you. Yeah. And it sounds like you were in a place to receive when your son said, you just sleep.
Yeah. And I was open to it. I was obviously ready to be awakened, right? There's a place where we all go where we know we're too far into whatever it is. And maybe it's depression, maybe it's addiction, maybe it's whatever. But I realized that a lot of those grapples that hold us tight are our own doing. And we have the ability to unravel it and to wake ourselves back up. But we have to be prepared to do so.
Did you forgive yourself for those periods that you were in?
Forgiving. I'm there now. I'm in the forgiving part.
Forgiving yourself.
Yeah, forgiving myself and remembering myself and remember it's okay. And sometimes things don't work out the way you want it, and it's okay.
I think that's an important part of everyone's healing journey is to forgive yourself.
Yeah.
I've had to forgive myself for so many things. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I'm like, it's okay.
It's okay.
Right?
Yes.
It doesn't stop. And I think that's part of the healing journey.
But that takes a level of clarity and wisdom as well, because garnering that wisdom allows you to understand that, okay, I failed at that today. It doesn't mean I'll fail at that forever. I'm making a choice now to not do that or repeat this mistake again the way that I did it before. So I thank God for that level of clarity, because there's some people that never, ever get it. Yeah. And they don't want to.
So what paused during this moment? What were you pausing when this incredible life event happened in terms of work? Like, what career were you designing for
I
yourself?
was in fashion. I was
Yeah.
locked in. I was like doing New York Fashion Week. I did a giant show and I had all this press and all these people had showed up for me. And I was like, I quit.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, no, you don't. I got this offer to go and store into Macy's. And I'm like, not now. I just can't. I can't get out of bed. I can't be motivated. I don't want to create. I felt like the created focus just shifted. And I can't explain it. It was like someone walked into my life and turned the light off.
Yeah.
And
Because when you're creative, you need certain energy
absolutely.
to draw upon
Absolutely.
and to get that. And so when
Absolutely.
you are that a life event interrupts, like where do you find that?
Where do
strength
you
from?
find it again? Absolutely. And so being in the dark, the light switch off and you don't know where the switch is on the wall. That's kind of what it felt like, trying to refine my focus or reset myself, was stumbling through the darkness to find light again. And it was difficult. It was challenging. But I think also it was weird because I was pastoring a church and I was leading people in my darkness, and I was trying to get people out of darkness while still being in a broken state. And a lot of times we do not have this conversation in the spiritual realm because we are often preaching, teaching, growing people while we're still broken and praying that someone will help us find our light.
How did you reconcile that?
I'm reconciling. Again, like you said, it's a level of forgiveness that you give yourself, because I realize
What I mean by that is like to be able to get into the pulpit and to preach light and love and healing and grace, but yet you are still suffering in silence internally. That's what I mean by
the weirdest thing ever. I preached my dad's funeral on Saturday. Sunday morning, I got up to do the sermon at the church.
Whoa.
And it didn't occur to me to don't do that, or don't get in this routine. But I was in a routine of it, so I kept doing it.
It was almost denial.
I was pretending it didn't happen. I brought my dad into salvation. He joined my church. He came out of addiction, So to see him transform and choose a better life and still die to a terrible circumstance, it did something. It unraveled a piece of me that I just cannot put back together on my own.
But something I'm thinking about, this is a gospel song that says, as I minister to you, I minister to myself, right? So it's almost as you're ministering to your congregation, it seems like you were ministering to yourself too as well, helping you pull
Absolutely. There was a lot of times where, this is a sermon for y'all, and I'll say it in the pulpit. This is a sermon for y'all. This is really for me.
Yeah.
This is really how I'm going to get to life on Monday. Yeah. So it was hard, but I just know that was God's grace keeping me throughout it all.
Almost to staying active.
Yeah. The busyness.
Which also too can be distraction from the healing. Right?
Yeah.
Like all the way around.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, you have decided, and on this moment, now I'm having a better understanding and a better picture. Here at the Mike Muse Show, we love conversations.
Well,
so I don't do
you're
interview
good.
questions.
This is the move right here. Yes.
I like conversations here. So I'm just curious. And okay, so we get to that point where you had this awakening. Your son is saying all that you do is sleep, and then you get this call.
Yeah.
Was it something you applied for? You had pitched yourself for? Did you submit for?
So originally, I was reached out to or DM'd by this lady Megan. She's a casting director, and she was like, "Oh, I love your profile. I love what you do." And I was just like, I don't think this is for me. I don't want to do a reality show. Yeah. And at the time, they were very vague with the details. Like it's a celebrity. It's a good show. It's about branding. You should do it. And I was already working with a few clients, maybe 10 or 20 clients that I just had on rotator that I would just work with. But I decided, okay, I'll do it. And then again, going through the process of creating, because we still had to pretty much audition in this space to prove that we were worthy to do what we were saying we could do. And through those challenges, I found them to be like so refreshing. Like, wow. I'm pretty sure people were overwhelmed in the process, but it was kind of cool to see like, oh, look at what we could do. Look at what I did. Oh, you like that? Oh, my bad. That was really cool to get the feedback and to kind of be back in the move of it again.
To affirm you.
Yes, to affirm all of those things that and in that moment, I realized, wow, there are millions of people who are sitting on their gift that are allowing fear and devastation and grief to stifle them, and that they could be so much further along if they allowed themselves to be free from whatever it is that's holding them. And I knew that this platform could be really big when it comes to having a conversation about the things we just don't talk about.
Well, I love seeing on the show where you won the challenge for Marshalls and then you won the challenge for Southwest Airlines. Talk to me about, because I think this gets to the heart where we can be a lesson for our audience, right? The idea of brand seems to be about storytelling, right? And if you can tell the story, then that is the brand. So what comes first? Is like this the narrative of the chicken or egg, right? Like, does the brand come first with the name or logo, or does the story come first?
The story always is first. The story connects the why. Why should people buy it? Why are people listening to you? Why does this product connect to me? If we all resonate with something, we all connect to it, then we want to buy it. We want to participate in it. And marketing now is no longer frogs on a lily pad singing Budweiser. You know, now it's about actually creating content that connects and resonate with people that they feel like, oh, that made me want to go and do something or change something or do something that makes me feel good. And so I feel like what the show did greatly is create the narrative of really connecting the why. And so when we were able to connect our why with the brand's why, you see this kismic thing happen where it just makes sense.
How do you identify the why, though? Because so many people are looking to start, as we started the conversation on this morning, looking to start their company, their business, or to take their business to the next level, and they may be missing that storytelling. Like, what lessons would you give to individuals or tips to help them find their why? I think that is so important.
That's a very good question. I think the first thing is self-identification. You look at what you're bringing to the table and what answers does it provide for people. Most people who are your customers, you're supposed to be delivering a result for their relief. So if you're helping them to eliminate a problem, then let that be a part of the why, and then structure the story around how you have eliminated the problem. And a lot of us don't think about business as, oh, we're eliminating the problem. Some people create a business because they want a product on the market, but the problem is supposed to be the solution for the client. And so we're telling a story based on that problem solving that we provided for our clients, and here's why we created it.
Then how do you then begin that narrative? Because we're in a day and age now where the marketplace is so crowded, right? It's crowded from a position of there's so many people in interesting sectors. There's been this really great conversation that's happening right now, audience. I'm sure you've been attuned to it with craft beers. Craft beer is experiencing a downturn currently right now. And when I was doing some research and just looking into different analysis on it, it's just such a crowded marketplace. I saw someone write when they said when you go down the craft beer aisle, it's so noisy with colors of cans, weird names that it takes you 10 minutes to decipher what exactly it is. And as they said they've changed the experience from going from the short cans to the tall boys. And so as a result, it just takes too long to drink, and temperatures and all the nine. So not to get too down the rabbit hole with that, but they're just saying it's such a crowded marketplace, right? And as a result, people are kind of checking out, right? And going back to the basics, right? So how do you give advice to individuals to how to set yourself apart from a very noisy, crowded marketplace?
I think the example you give in here is genius, because if we're going to talk about craft beer, yeah, it might be a crowded space, but there's still one that's sticking out, right? Even if it's a downturn in that space, there's still one primarily that connects to an audience because of some reason. And really, I think it's authenticity that connects us to people, right? Most of the people we follow on Instagram, especially from when we first started, Instagram was all about authenticity, like who is relatable or connectable or really living the life that they show us on the gram. So I think if we could keep our stories authentic, if we can resonate with some level of human, there's not enough connection, in a lot of the things that we're trying to sell. So if we can really just be honest and say, oh, well, I didn't know what I was doing, or I failed. People love this person that I'm going to mention, Kiki Palmer. Okay. And you know why we love Kiki? Kiki gonna say whatever she gonna say,
Yeah.
but also she's gonna say it with her chest in a way that it doesn't become offensive, or it's not abrasive. It's just her opinion, and we can accept it because that's Kiki. Well, that's her brand now, and she's created a brand of authenticity. And so now, when people respond to her, connect with her, they connect with the fact that she's always going to be herself.
Yeah.
So I value that, and I think that that's something that is a great value add in the marketplace, is people showing up authentically. Who are you? What do you want from us, and why?
Well, then talk to me now. We developed how to identify your why. We've talked about how to tell that story and to differentiate yourself from the rest. Then the third thing I'm curious about then is, what does the activation look like onto the story, onto the brand? And the two examples I think of is from the show, where one, Marshall, as you created an actual activation experience of the closet, but then with Southwest, you did the wraparound, right? So how do I know, if I'm a small business owner, entrepreneur trying to scale to the next level, what type of medium I should be telling my story through, or and how to develop this brand?
Well, I think the one thing that we have the advantage of from our parents and our ancestors is we have a phone. You can look at this thing, cut the camera on, and go live, have a conversation. There's an audience built into that system. There's someone waiting for your story to be told. Whether it's one person or 50, just allow that to happen and stay consistent. Eventually, what will happen is you'll find the community that you rightfully deserve, and now they will be able to consume your product and help you get the word out. But if more people will dial into what they have instead of trying to, you don't have to wrap a plane. That's ridiculous. That costs millions of dollars. So let's start with what you have. You have a billboard that's literally within your hands. There are hundreds of thousands of people that are just looking for something interesting to connect to, that's genuine, that's honest, that's real, that's you. Just show them you.
That's so real. This morning, and forgive me, business owner, for not knowing the name, but I just checked out on Instagram today. I had no idea I was going to bring this up right now in this conversation. But there's this incredible lady. She's based in Louisiana, New Orleans. Someone tag her. I'm sure eventually you'll recognize it. And she creates these incredible ice cream concoctions. There's like a base, but then there's like peach cobbler cheesecake, and another one is like a sweet potato pie crumble with vanilla ice cream. Another one. I mean,
Yes,
it's
please.
just like these delicious ice cream pints, bro. And she literally just videotapes it with her camera of what the container, you don't even see her face.
Right.
Video what the container looks like, turns it around so you can see it. My greedy self, like, is trying to eat my phone, is trying to figure out
Right.
if I can order it from
Right.
where it's from. But here's what's so interesting and why it goes to the point that you're making. You can't order it online. And what she does, though, is I think she has a brick and mortar in New Orleans or Louisiana,
okay.
but then she does pop-ups in different cities. And when I tell you, the lines are wrapped around the corner and block for them to get this ice cream at the pop-up. But to your
Genius.
point,
That's genius.
the billboard was the phone, as you mentioned, right? And if you create a product and she's genuine with it, I love her New Orleans drawl.
Yeah.
You know, that
Yes.
she has. She does it in her own
There's a
way.
niche. Now we have a connection. Now we have a story, and we have a why, and we have a product that's viral because people want it, and we
Yep.
can't get it. So now we want to find it or find you. That's genius.
That's exactly what you just talked about.
genius.
That is a perfect example we just used. And while we're doing, I'm going to respect this lady. I have got to find her
Give her a
Instagram while we're
shout out.
talking. But watch my multitasking thing that I can do. I did send it to a friend of mine because I'm just like, yo, we need to do this. And audience, I just found it. If you could take a listen.
So this is the sweet potato praline flavor. And you're lying if you say you don't see the seasoning in that pie. You know, we have a lot of peach lovers out there, so we added our peach cobbler cheesecake. It's the banana pudding brownie. This time pecan pie cheesecake. It's the pineapple upside down flavor. So this our caramel apple cheesecake flavor, and I really think y'all gonna like this one. We have our brownie pecan pie surprise. Now this one don't look like much. I knew that already. But this the cinnamon roll cheesecake. I'm telling you, don't knock it until you try it. Now this our rich pecan pie surprise flavor. I mean, the name alone just tell you everything you need to know. So you gotta taste the sweet potato cheesecake pie. This our lemon graham cracker crunch.
So listen, this is what I'm saying. Her name, I'm going to it right now, Mahiri. It's Marikion the Treat. And the audience, I'm going to spell it for you. It's ITZMERAKION THE treats. Our videographer Drew, he will put this on the Chiron at the bottom of the video, so you can go to it. But it's Marikian the treats. It's exactly. I didn't even know I was gonna be talking about you, right? Like it just the example was so perfect.
And you remembered her.
Yes.
And it was because of her accent. It was because of her talent, and it was because of her product. You remembered her, and that's all it takes. It's one person remembering her, saying her name in the right room. You're saying her name in the right room, in the right conversation, and it all makes sense. It was authentic, it was real, and it was resonating because we were talking about something that made that happen for you. She had a billboard that you saw.
But it kind of goes. I think that wraps up our case today,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because you originally talked about the why, right? And it's solving for a problem,
Yes.
right? Or identifying a answer,
Yes.
right? Because I don't think she was ice cream is ice cream. She's not solving for anything,
Right.
but it's providing a solution, and that solution is people love sweet potato pie. We love decadent cakes because I love a good coconut cake. That's what really drove me. I love a good coconut cake.
Yeah.
And I always like doing my Alamo vanilla ice cream. So it's
Okay.
essentially just combining things I love. Which
She's
is
not solving a problem for you.
exactly.
She's solving a problem for me.
Oh, for you too, right? That's what I'm saying.
Because finding a good ice cream
Yes.
is legit an issue.
So you know what that is a problem.
It
Because
is without all the chemicals and all the back stuff. It's so dope that someone is making a homemade ice cream in shop that we can go and get.
but
That
with
is
the cake
solving a
or pie
problem.
in
Yes.
it, that is a problem.
Yes.
Because I can't find that.
So look at this.
Bro, you this is my
Yes.
therapy. You help me figure it out because sometimes I go to a restaurant, I just want to get the cake, and they always do some type of some
Yes,
fancy
yeah.
cream based something sorbet. I'm like, no, do you just have a scoop of vanilla ice cream
Right.
to go with this basic cake? And it's always either a no, but how about like this super flourless lava? I'm like, good God, no, just
Some
give me 2
lavender ice
layers
cream.
with the frosting in the middle, the frosting on the top.
So yes.
Do you hear my pain, bro?
Yes, she is actually solving a problem.
that's-
and
I
that's
guess
so
I'm so
funny.
drawn towards it.
Yes. That's actually solving a
That'd
problem.
be in
So
therapy
that's
right now.
great marketing. That's great.
So, okay, so she saw the problem.
Yes.
This is what you mentioned, what you talked about, business owners solve the problem.
Yes.
Right? And then and tell the story.
Yes.
Right? And clearly the way she's telling the story is insane, right? Because she
Right.
was like, you see the seasonings in sweet potato pie. So she's like, I'm telling the story about I created this with love, with seasoning. And then the third thing you mentioned was authenticity.
Yes.
Right? With the accent authenticity. And then you said people will come.
Yes. And they're going to come. I'm going.
We're going.
You have sold me.
Yeah.
She wrote rich on top of the ice cream. I shall have that.
Have it.
Like that honestly is great marketing.
She might be from Houston. I don't know. I'm gonna dig more into it. But the point being, yes.
great marketing.
So I'm just literally thinking.